I have no words for this game. So this is the third part in a trilogy at this point with this person. The first game was brutal. Like I just, it was one of my favorite games I had ever played. Just very smooth. This game, it was a gimp suit. So yeah, this was like one of my best positional games ever. And it was smooth, and it was just a really good game. And then a few weeks later, I played him at the Denver Chess Club, and I lost. In this opening in a Nightorf. After he offered me a draw, and I said no with like a minute on my clock, and I tried to win, and then I lost. When I knew I was like, but he showed, you know, it was a really, really annoying game. But yeah, he kept moving his queen back and forth like that, and he offered me a draw, so I was like, I have to win, you know? Like, you're just showing so much weakness, I'm just gonna win. But then I lost. Okay. And then that game triggered a losing streak. Or I don't know if that triggered it. I've been having a losing streak against lower rated players. I don't know why. But this, and then I lost to another lower rated player, and then another one, and it was just awful. So then I got paired with him again. And I'll let you guess what the result of this game was, or something. Maybe do a prediction. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if there's any mods here, but... Okay. So I decided to go for d4 this time, because, again, trying to play more positional. So it was King's Indian, or as some people would call it, a Catalan. And it was this move order. And all this is good. I really wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing against this specific setup, but I played it very well. So queen c7, h3 is best, e5, bishop e3 is best. Okay, and so here is the first important point in the game. So he goes knight e8, which is like, what the fuck? You know? I just don't think this is one of the positions where you can justify that. By the way, knight c3 too early, not best. Don't even get me started. So I'm already +2 here after knight e8. No, this is not a thing here. This is not a thing. Knight e8 is a blunder. Or maybe just a mistake, because he was already kind of getting to be worse. So it's white to play here, and there's a lot of options. A lot of like +1 moves, and a few +1.5, +2 moves, which I think is interesting. So shout out a move if you got one. I don't think I even have a bad move in this position. Although, I move queen or king is maybe one of them. Okay, so Plaster Hippie, I played d takes e5, that's like +1. d5 is probably okay. I don't particularly like it though. I would say two of the main moves with pawn pushes in the center would be taking on e5 or playing c5 right away, both with similar ideas. d5 is probably okay. I just wasn't a fan. So the interesting thing is, okay, this move is equally good as this one, but the three best moves are rook c1, b3, or queen c2. Also rook e1 is good. So the answer is just do nothing, which is weird. To me, he made such a passive backwards move. It's like, felt like time to do something, and it just looks so bad. So d takes e seems logical to me. But rook c1, I assume he wanted to play f5 or something. And then just wants rook e1 here. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I think it's natural to be afraid of this, but I have a huge center, and my king is pretty safe. It does make me pretty uncomfortable, though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like my bishop's in the way. I don't know. It's kind of strange to me. Again, like, you know, the computer could be over-evaluating this for white because it's a King's Indian, and the computer just hates King's Indians. So, at a higher depth, who knows? But, yeah, d takes e5, and my idea behind this is, you know, he takes with the pawn, and then c5, knight d2, knight c4 is a pretty big idea, and clamp down on the d6 square. Seemed like it made sense to me. So I go c5 here. And then he plays this move. Okay, we're at another very important critical point in the game. So again, white to play. F5 is not a good move, but you have to respond very accurately. That's exactly right, Plaster Hippie. In which order? Because it's very important. I played one of these moves, and one of these moves is much better than the other. And there's a, pretty big discrepancy between the two moves. Like, one is plus 1.5, and the other one is, like, plus 0.5. So the point of both moves is, light square control, basically. And they both have a lot of interesting good points about them. So I like queen b3 because it vacates the square for a rook, okay? And it kind of cuts the king off. It's with a tempo, and it just looks good. Knight g5 also has its... The thing is, after knight g5, both moves, black only has one response to both moves, and it's both knight d to f6. So it's more about finding the correct follow-up. Queen d2 is not one of the options. So let's look at queen b3 first. So queen b3 is what I played, and it's not nearly as good. So, and then I went here. And my point was that after knight d to f6, I take once, and then I obtain bishop pair, and then this is weak, and this is strong. Bishops, and this looks pretty good for white, I thought. Okay? But if I go knight g5 first, the point is, here, I'm not playing queen b3. It's really important to have it as an option, but not to be premature with it. So here the best move is f4, which is just a really nice move. If I were to spot f4, it would still take me a long time to figure out, even if I saw it. Yeah, f4 is a really nice move. But after h6, then we go queen b3. Only then do we go queen b3. And the difference in this position, we're not doing this. We're going knight f3. Okay, we're still controlling the e6 square, which is really important to keep the bishop undeveloped. And now, since he weakened g6, knight h4 is a big idea. It's confusing position. So like if he plays e takes f4, we take with the bishop, and another big point behind throwing queen b3 in is I want to be able to put this rook here, not this one. Because if I were to put this rook here, then the queen might be safer on f7. And then if, in this position... Yeah, in this position there's bishop d6. And I'm just getting... This is pretty nasty. But if he's not taking on f4, like if he doesn't play h6, he should play king h8. And then we take on e5, queen b3. And then this is what the computer is giving. What the fuck? The computer likes to repeat moves at least once, because it allows more possibilities to make a mistake. Hanging a pawn with check, yes. Yeah, I don't know, f4 never occurred to me, and I think even if it did, it's really complicated. There's a lot to consider here. I mean, I'd probably play that move in blitz without thinking very much, but... Yeah. I mean, I just wasn't realizing how strong just going backwards was. Well, first this, because if I go backwards right away, then there's bishop e6, right? No, because then I take on e5. Why is it so important? Okay, and now he's supporting bishop e6 or something. It's like I still don't really get it, But like my move is good, but it's just not quite enough. Also, if I play f4 here, there's knight h5. Can we spot the difference here? The difference is in the other position. My queen is still on d1, so I take on f5 here. Okay, and obviously you can't take that way. And and this fails to this shit, I think. Or maybe queen b3 first. I don't know. I like this. No, I can't do that. Queen b3. Hello?
When are you doing the trip at 4:30? Are you streaming?
Yeah.
Hi. So, we're leaving soon.
Like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Come here, show everyone your muscle tee. We're gonna do jazzercise soon. Daniel, look at this fucking position. Wait.
Yeah, we looked at this a little bit.
It's just weird. It's just weird to allow knight takes g3. It's weird to allow knight takes f1. And for some reason, to me, it's also weird to just calmly take back. And then this position I was analyzing, where you actually take on e5 and allow this trade because it's like a big defender. Like, I would assume I need the rook on f1 to swing over, but getting rid of his defending rook is more important. And, no, bishop takes f1 is bad. I have to take with the king. This looks like a goddamn mess. This is difficult. I don't know. I can't find, like, half of those moves, let alone all of them. So anyway, maybe my move is more practical, for a human. I don't even know. But yeah, I throw taking in first because I don't want this to happen and then just f4. That's pretty bad. So we have to take first. And now he doesn't have this as an option to trade the queens. So he wants to trade queens this way, which I was very happy with. Queen takes c8 is best. And then this position, okay? This position. This fucked up position. So in my head, I'm just better here. I'm like slightly better. But then I had this moment where I thought for 10 minutes about which rook to put on d1. And I was having a little bit of a neurotic moment there with that. And they're both good. They're both perfectly fine. But they also both have drawbacks. And also, just by the way, this is a plan. Annoying plan. See, but if I play rook a to d1, yeah, I'm getting out of this. But I might want to put the rook here to support b5, b4. I mean b4, b5. And also, when I vacate f1 with my f rook, then I could play bishop f1 to c4. You know? Like, they're both good. They're both good. My instinct was also rook f to d1. They're both equally good. But anyway, I spent a really long time on which rook to put, hold on. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to see how much time I spent. Yeah, I spent a bunch of time, and then I decided to do this, which loses the advantage. But I had a point. My point was that I want to see what he's doing first before I decide which rook I want to put on d1. I wanted to see if I could make a waiting move. The point of b4 is that after knight c7, I want to go b5 anyway. And then put a rook on b1, you know, which would be fine. But the reason this loses the advantage is because he just goes e4. This is like dead equal. And also, it's important. I didn't really ever have a big advantage. The biggest advantage I had was like plus 0.5, okay? So after e4, I move rook a to d1. Makes sense. And because, you know, this is a bigger priority right now. But now he goes knight c7, and now I'm really pissed off because this is just happening. Again, I had to spend some time here. Played bishop d4, which is a good move. I take, and I realize, here, this is the crazy thing, okay? So I realize in this position that taking on g7 is not advisable because I would rather, if we're trading the dark square bishops, if I'm giving up the bishop pair, I want him to initiate it and set my rooks up to be doubled, okay? So I played a3, showing that I understood that, alright? And then he plays this bizarre move, king g8. Just fucking bizarre, okay? And the way I was feeling during this game, the way I would describe this whole game, is there's this episode of Frasier, okay, where Frasier is learning how to ride a bike. But the reason that he hasn't learned how to ride a bike is because he has this thing where when he's riding his bike, if he sees something that he can run into, no matter how off the path it is, no matter how impossible it is for him to hit it, he just focuses on it, and his bike just slowly starts going that way, and he always runs into it. And that's kind of what happened here, okay? I thought for like 4 minutes here about just playing rook e1, so I can play bishop f1 to c4, because he put his king on g8. And I had said to myself many times, like, as long as we just don't take on g7, you know, like this is fine. And I obviously knew that because I played a3. Yet at the end of my think about all this, for some reason, I convinced myself that taking on g7 first, and I'm still doing the same plan, and I'm still pinning this knight, which I'm not, but I also thought it was pinned this way, so like there's checks. So then I took here, which doesn't align at all with my previous move. I feel like this shows like serious mental issues that I would play a3 and then take on g7 after such a dumb move. So yeah. And then I did this, and then I was like really kind of pissed off. I was like, wait, why did I do that? Because this is not a pin anymore. So still I should go rook e1, but I decided not to. I was like, all right, I gotta win this. I have no advantage anymore. If anything, black might be a little tiny bit better. And I, you know, for a long time I had g4 as an idea, and I decided to implement it here because I saw that I have 17 minutes. He has 29. I saw that, okay, e3 looks good at first because he's threatening e2, but if it's a fork, but I have check, so it doesn't matter, okay? And otherwise, I'm activating the bishop, and, like, if he takes here, this looks pretty bad for him. This looks pretty miserable. He's not hanging on to both of these pawns, and I think I will win this equal rook and pawn endgame 80% of the time. But then he just, like, goes for this. Like I'm an idiot. He just looks at me like I'm an asshole. Like I didn't look at this. Like it wasn't the first thing I looked at before I played g4. So I played that and he seemed shocked. And this is really bad. Yeah, this is really bad because this is pinned now. So he's losing a pawn. So I go rook f3. There's no way to defend this pawn. He goes rook e8. And I find this really nice move, king f2. Okay? This is a really nice move. I was expecting knight d1 here, but he took my bishop, which I thought was a little shocking. I take on f5 with check, and now these are still connected. I don't even have to take with the pawn. And now I take his knight. So I won a pawn, but it's still equal. So, okay, rook e2 check. This would be kind of a terrible blunder because of rook a2. So we go king g3. And the reason this is a draw is because he's always going to have a5 as an idea, as long as he stays behind my pawns. And then I can't make progress. This is a wild rook and pawn endgame, by the way. But he goes here, which is a blunder. Now I am +4. So rook f3, rook e4, and here I play the best move, rook d3. And my idea was, okay, I cut off his rook from that, and now I'm going to play king f3, push his rook back, and go king f4. This is easy win. I just bring the king in. However, since now I'm running even lower on time, yeah, I have like 10 minutes here. I played king f3, and then he went rook c4, which I didn't realize was possible, which just fucked me up psychologically. Like, that just fucked with my head a lot, that I didn't realize that. So king f3 doesn't lose the advantage, but it is white to play and win here. So rook d7 is the winning move. Rook d6 is best. But, yeah, rook d7, and then you have to calculate shit here. So I don't really want to give you the h-pawn, because if I give you the h-pawn, I think I'm just losing, because these are very strong. So black would play h5 here. So rook d6 is so much stronger, because we're forcing the king to a worse square. Like, if he goes something like this to try and stop me from going here, now I have rook h6, and you don't have h5 as a resource. And if you go, like, here again, I don't know, something like this. I'm threatening to trade the rooks as well, so it makes it worse. But that's the main point, is this pawn is a lot more important than that one. But yeah, after h5, you have multiple wins. King h4, it's probably, yeah, I think that's a good move. Yeah. I think it's kind of surprising that this is the best move. I would much rather, I guess I don't have the option to keep my pawns connected, because he's just going to take one of them. But, to be fair, listen, to be fair, king f3 is equally winning if he does have to go back. And then king f4. It's the same evaluation as rook d6. So, okay, like, at least I understood that. I didn't know that this was a legal move. Okay, but I didn't lose the advantage. I'm still winning. But it fucked me up psychologically, and you can see that by my next move. So I just go back. Still haven't messed up the advantage. But now he finds the idea of a5. And it doesn't work in this position as well, but it's not obvious why. And for me, I didn't even see a5 coming for some reason. Like, it seems so obvious to me now, but I don't know, in the moment, it's just not a move I was considering. So when he played it, it kind of slapped me in the face. I was like, holy fuck, this is a draw? Rook b3 is what I played, rook b3 is a draw. So yeah, he's threatening to win our pawn. Kind of annoying, kind of a big threat. And I was trying not to spend a whole bunch of time, but that's why I played rook b3, because I didn't really see, like, this isn't happening, this is not working, he just takes here. This is a draw, maybe even more of a draw. So the answer is we just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Just give him the pawn, don't worry about it. The point is, my king is coming in. I'm forcing the king to the side of the board. And that is worth it. He's not gonna do anything with these pawns. Simply play king h5, plays rook c4, and I'm just shoving the king back. I'm gonna win the h pawn. That move is, I guess it makes sense. Okay. And if I ever take this, I have shelter behind my pawns. And it's strange because I guess it's not that strange. He needs to keep this pawn, because if I get two passed pawns, it's just too much. And otherwise, if he does something... Oops. I guess he has to do this. But maybe he should try that. Then I have rook b6 check. And I'm just getting forced back, and the king comes in. And you can't go defend the pawn this way, because then you're going to get mated. So this idea did not occur to me over the board. To just ignore this. And this was kind of my one and only chance in the game to win, aside from playing rook d7 earlier. So I go rook b3, and he takes it. And I take with the rook because at least I have chances of getting this endgame, where I have 2 versus 1 over here, which would be winning. However, if I do this, black to play and draw here. So king e5, I just take your pawn, and then this endgame, as I said, is winning. Yes, h5. h5 is nasty. And now there's just no possible way to win. As soon as I only have one pawn over here, it's a draw. Also, you can even throw this in and do something, maybe even still play h5, double these pawns, because they can't take it. If they take this way, then maybe I even do this and just get the king in, you know? Opposition! So I saw that, and I was like, ugh. So I thought I should go for that in case he doesn't find h5, but I wanted to initiate one more test. I played a4, and I'm thinking this is forced, but I felt like this was kind of a better version of it, because, you know, if he takes, I take there. And if h5 in this position, I go rook b4 and I keep my pawn, because it's not check. This is my idea. Like, I'm not making it check, so I can possibly hang on to this pawn and this pawn. But he found this nice move. He just plays b5. And it couldn't be more drawn now. I think, yeah, if I push, there's this, and then I might lose. So I took, and he offered me a draw. And, I fought until I had, like 30 seconds left. I considered letting my time fall because I was that mad at myself. Because, listen, looking at this game with the computer seems easier, but during that game, my opponent didn't really do anything wrong, and neither did I, yet it's a bad result for me. So I felt I must have done something wrong, and I had no idea where. And I was so angry because I didn't do anything wrong, yet I'm still having bad results. But that's how mad I was at myself. For allowing b5 would piss me off a lot, because we'll never know if he would have found h5 or if he would have just tried to take that pawn. We'll never know now. I just thought rook a5 was forced and it was a better version of it. So, and I thought that was where I made my mistake. I thought I maybe was still winning at this point, which I wasn't, but I thought I was. So I had to accept the draw here, but it made me feel really sick. Because I just didn't know what I did wrong. I mean, he found b5, so why wouldn't he find h5? I don't know. I mean, he might, but he might not. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that game made me really sad. And I wanted to quit chess after that. And then I looked at it with the engine and with Josh, and I was like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. But it's just really discouraging because I've been on like a fucking losing streak forever, and I finally am starting to play better, yet it still wasn't enough to beat a 1700. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I have to go, like, right now, because we're leaving in 10 minutes, and I am still wearing my dog pajama pants. It was winning at some point, but I have to allow him to take on b4, which is pretty, crazy. Anyway, alright, bye YouTube. Say bye YouTube. Bye bye.